Okay. I've been recording for an hour and 36 minutes. I gotta tell you, I would, well, I need to restart my computer because I'm streaming Star Citizen in actually an hour. Is this? Yeah, this is Offie. I will say, I haven't done too much on my own game, my own tabletop game I want to make, my own universe thing I want to do. There's several elements to that, though. Okay, so there's the universe that I want to make. There's the game that I want to make. And I mean strictly the game, the system, the system. And I want that system to be setting agnostic. I don't want you to be tied into... I don't want you to be necessarily tied in with the system. Which does mean that I have a few interesting quirks, because I'm a nerd, and I definitely want to balance a system so that if you want to have a steampunk fantasy, or if you want to have a lo-fi modern game, or, you know, anything, or sci-fi, or the setting I'm most interested in, science fantasy, you can do that. And the system should be, you know, at least hopefully good enough that, or balanced enough that, you know, like, you could take that and you could be like, hey, okay, and I've got a musket, and here I've got a laser gun, and they're balanced in a way that makes sense. They're balanced in a way that makes sense. And they're a, you know, and I could just throw these things from different settings in, and it's not going to affect things too terribly. So, like, there's that system I want to make. There's the setting I want to make. There's, again, the science fantasy setting that I want to make. And then there's the, like, basically that same setting, but also, like, more personal, like, universe for my OCs. Which is a separate thing entirely. More or less a separate thing entirely, but, like, I don't know, just seeing the chunks food thing. I'm sure I've mentioned some of the stuff, something, but like this, but, oh well. I like the idea of, those, like, you know, like, sort of really cheap utilitarian, synthetic meal, like, hyper efficient synthetic meal things. Where, like, I love cooking, also, don't get me wrong. But the idea of, oh, I can just have, like, this cube that is, you know, this cheap cube that's like, oh, I could have a microwave meal for, like, $2. Okay. Not $2. For, like, $10. And then I could have this meal cube that has, for the sake of argument, the exact same nutrition, but it is made in a much more efficient way, much more automated way. It's like $2. And maybe it has, you know, some things, I don't know, I just, like, I'm no food scientist, and like hyper processed foods or high processed foods have problems, but also they're kind of over exaggerated is the general kind of rule of thumb. I think I was mentioning in a stream where it's like, I mean, the idea of having an acceptable level of lead in food is interesting. And yeah, I'd rather just not have any lead, I'll admit. But at the same time, I mean, okay, I don't know how lead is seems like a pretty egregious material to be a pretty egregious resource or element to have in food. But like, what is the amount that it's not going to affect me at all? I'm assuming that for some reason it has to be there, because it's just how it's found in the food naturally, or it might be. So, you know, then like, okay, what's the amount that it doesn't affect me, and can you get to that level? And yeah, at that point that's a thing. And obviously, like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Regulation isn't a terrible thing. Too much regulation and bloat is something, but that's a whole different discussion, though. I also saw a behind the scenes little short for The Walking Dead. Whoever the actor for Negan is, was mentioning a scene where like his character is supposed to be like eating cockroaches, and they had like some like chocolate like mock-ups or whatever, and apparently the crew would actually sneak in actual cockroaches in between, so he actually never knew when if he was eating a fake or an actual cockroach. And I don't know. There's also a thing in Snowpiercer, a very interesting movie, where the characters, maybe a little bit of a spoiler, but it's not really that much of a spoiler. They find out that they're eating, that like the processed food bars that they have are made from ground up cockroaches or bugs, and they're absolutely disgusted by it. And like, I mean, I guess that's fair, but it's also a post-apocalyptic it's also a post-apocalyptic scenario where, you know, everything's gone to shit. Like, an entire civilization is surviving solely on a train. People don't really have, there's not really a lot of room to complain, right? Now granted, there's like a higher class of people who are eating like fresh fish and fresh vegetables, so, you know, by comparison that's like, oh, okay. It's definitely, there's, you know, definitely a few things to be said about that, but yeah. Oh, jeez. This is definitely one of the things I hate, though, with this game. It's like, right now, I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. Now, granted, this is not what anybody should ever do if they play Starfield. But it is also a prime example of, like, something you can do that has no that has no business existing, but exists anyway. Oh, at least that was actually kind of quick. Where, like, I need to find these stupid things that really don't feel like they have any value. Like, the research, like, this research in and of itself is not doing me anything. It's not pushing a bar, it's not, you know, there's no progress being made, it's just, there's no real, worthwhile, tangible process being made. Sorry, I'm eating chips. But yeah. Oh, you know, there is another thing, actually, to talk about. So, I don't know, we'll see. There's a game that I wanted to play in the interim. Dreams of Change TF Poker, I think. It's currently only on itch.io. It's kinda lewd, but not explicit. It is legitimately just poker, but it's transformation poker. So if you lose, you get transformed into something, and well, genuinely, if you lose, you get turned into something depending on who wins the match, and there's AI to go up against. But also, if you are out, then you get turned into a card. Well, the player gets turned into a joker. The other players get turned into thingamabobs, into actual cards, and you can actually kind of maybe guess what cards somebody might have because the cards will shake, and you'll know, oh, this person has, it's possible that this person has this card. It's cool. I kind of wanted to upload it as a thing between projects, and maybe I'll bite the bullet and I'll just do that. I'm recording this on a Sunday and I need to edit whatever I do on Monday. But yeah. Oh, and by the way, so the whole cabinet project, so yeah, if I upload the TF poker, then by the time you see this, I will have the ship will already have sailed with the cabinet. Maybe it's not done by the time you watch it. Maybe it's not going to be done at the end of this week, but you know, just for reference sake. Anyway, until next time, have a good day, great day even. Chowskis.